Everybody, it's Colton Ingram with Hunt Art Outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about gear. Not necessarily going to show you any gear. I'm wearing some of the pants that would be considered hunting gear right now, but this is more for a video because I know whenever I first started getting into gear, first started looking at it, it can be really overwhelming. A lot of times you don't really want to spend all that money on a piece of gear or a piece of clothing that you can't wear, but maybe wants to. You know, some people may wear it weeks at a time, or if you're going on a backpacking trip or anything like that. But it's a very overwhelming process. So there's so many companies, so many brands, so many different ways that you can do this. I mean, is the gear going to make it to where you get an animal guaranteed? No, but there are pros and there are cons to both sides of it. I grew up hunting with Carhartts and blue jeans and a t-shirt, and I did just fine. My dad, my grandparent, all of them, they all hunted in flannels. That's the big, fighter whenever it comes to hunting gear in itself. I personally wear hunting gear whenever I hunt. I used to not. And gear isn't just clothing. It's also packs and bino harnesses and your binoculars, your glass, spotting scopes, whatever you're hunting with, whether it be rifle, bow, crossbow, muzzleloader, all of that stuff matters at the end of the day. Whether you have the best of the best or you have, mediocre or just whatever you have. Really, I don't care what you have as long as you're getting out there and you're hunting and or getting outdoors and doing your best at everything you do. Now, when it comes to gear, especially whenever it comes to things like pants, shirts, there's companies like KUIU, First Light, and I'm going to do a comparison video between certain companies and the gear that I currently have, that I've tested, that I've used, and I'll tell you whether I liked it or didn't like it, or the pros and cons. Pretty much everything has their own set. By going with this gear, I always say the comfortable hunter lasts longer. So a lot of people have the issue of the aspect of, man, it's really cold outside. And when it gets really cold and you're not using something that has merino wool, which I'll also get into on another video, you will get very cold. Not saying you're not going to get cold in these, as I like to call them, bougie hunting clothing companies. But the nice thing about hunting clothing is there's so many different brands and so many different ways you can do it. You don't have to buy Sitka, you don't have to buy First Light, you don't have to buy KUIU. There's brands out there. Cabela's has their own line, Sportsman's has their own line. Companies like Badlands, very economical, very, very good stuff. Honestly, I think Badlands probably has one of the best warranties in the business. But choosing all of these things will be overwhelming. You see layering systems, and you see base layer, you see outer layer. And for me, whenever I think of an outer layer, I think of like a jacket, like just something that goes over. Well, that may be a mid layer in their sense. Now, just because it's a mid layer doesn't mean that it can't be on the outside. So we're going to start right now with base layers. Base layers are going to be something like a t-shirt, something that you're going to wear all the time, every day almost, when you're in the backcountry or just on any type of hunt. Then you get into, and that's also going to include like long johns, socks, those kinds of things, kind of the next to skin part. It's always going to be touching your skin. Then you get into mid layers. Mid layers are going to be like a pullover, like a hoodie. You could use it like that, or outer layer being like the pants. They also make some extra things for like long johns that will go over. They could be like sweats or something similar to that. Then you get into outer layers, which is going to be like your jackets. Obviously your pants are going to be there, boots, and those, all of them coming together, especially with these new companies, they are driven towards being lightweight. And whenever you're out there and say you're having to use a pack and you start the day off at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning and it's super cold outside, or you're in a coyote stand and it starts snowing or it's just blowing wind, like that is just can be miserable. And I've been there. I've had the Carhartt jackets and yeah, it kept me warm, and I've had blue jeans with long johns from, Walmart or a department store, and I got really cold. And like I said, I wasn't a believer in it. I really wasn't. I fought tooth and nail to stay away from it until I tried it. And whenever I tried it, it was amazing, the difference. How quiet the pants are. You're not getting swish, 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 swish. How great the boots were. I mean, so much more comfort out of those pieces of equipment. Same thing with my jackets or mid layers and base layers. Like, I didn't have to choose between taking off and carrying a 3-pound Carhartt, or I could carry multiple layers that still weigh half of the Carhartt, and I can be more comfortable in those situations. So when you're choosing gear, first off, let's start with budget. Look at all these different companies. You don't have to just be one and done. You don't have to buy everything from one company. Like I said, I own pieces from Badlands. I own pieces from KUIU. I own pieces from First Light, Stone Glacier, Sitka. All of them have their benefits. All of them have their pros. All of them have their cons. I have bought things that I didn't really enjoy from probably every single one of those companies. And I have certain ways of buying those things for driven purposes. So when you're looking at it, think about your budget, think about where you're going to be hunting, and think about what it is that makes you uncomfortable. Some people get cold very easy. I'm one of those people. I do not like to be cold, and so whenever I pick a piece of clothing, I want it to be warm. Or in another sense, if I'm going to be in somewhere hot, I want something that's not going to stink by the time I get done with that hunt, especially if I'm in the backcountry and I'm having to pretty much wear that multiple days in a row and throw it in a pack or something of that sort. So thinking of those 3 keys, your budget is really going to depend on, or it's really going to pretty much answer which company you're going to go through. If I had to say one thing though, for sure on gear, your boots and your socks should come first. Those 2 things will make or break you. Blisters on your feet are no fun. It can get you hurt, can get you sick. Your socks are going to help with that. Your boots are going to help you with that. The boots are going to help with keeping your ankles and everything else firm in check and making sure that you don't roll your ankle in the field. And there's 100 different companies. Personally, I wear Crispies. Love them. I've had LL Beans before. They were great boots. I've also been the guy that just wore Twisted X moccasins or work boots. After wearing Crispies and actual hunting designed boots, I see why they are great and why they cost what they cost. Now, the second piece I would really consider going with would be your shirt. Having a nice merino wool shirt or a synthetic, I mean, there's so many different kinds out there that will dry fast and keep you warm, because once you get wet and it's cold, it's game over. You're going to get sick. You're going to have to bail out of there, at least with something that's going to dry quickly and not stink and you're comfortable in. Then it can get you a good pair of pants. They make pants now with knee pads. They make pants without knee pads. Personally, these ones right here, these are the KUIU Axis Hybrid Pant. The darker parts are waterproof. That was a big deal to me because I wanted to make sure my knees didn't get wet. I wanted to make sure down here at my calves didn't get wet. And it also has on the seat, but it also has heat dumps on the side that are zippered and have mesh. And I'm going to show you the pants that I go with on another video. I'm going to go in depth with shirts. I'm going to try to break it down top and bottom and just kind of go over those things with y'all. How I layer them, how I do things. Now, the other kinds of pants that I have, they also have heat dumps. Heat dumps, in my opinion, are a must-have because here in where I hunt New Mexico, it can be really cold in the morning, but hot in the afternoon. So first look at that. Then let's look at the brand name. Like I said, you don't have to buy it all from one company. Let's look at the budget. Let's see what we can get, and let's do the most with what we have. And from there, you can move into other pieces of gear, such as packs, and a lot of these companies carry their own packs. You can look into vinyl harnesses. Once you have those things, man, you're gonna notice a difference. And if you don't, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make you just spend money. I'm not sponsored by anyone. And I will tell you the truth on the gear that I present with you and to you as to why I chose them and why I like them or why I don't like them. Because I do have a few pieces in there that I don't like, or don't very much care for, or don't really have a use for. And I was very confused in the buying process, and that's pretty much why I bought them. Now, just because it's hunting clothing doesn't mean you can't wear them every single day. That's the beauty of solids. If you're a camo dude, more power to you. I personally don't wear camo a whole lot. I do have some pieces that are camo, and I just bought them because I liked the camo, or I had a certain reason or a certain hunt coming up that I wanted them for. Every piece of gear has their own specific purpose. So when you're looking at it and you're getting confused, just remember that everything can be used at any time. It doesn't have to go with you on every single hunt. Like in pronghorn season or antelope season, I'm not taking my puffy. I'm not taking a heavy jacket. I might wear a light jacket in the mornings when it's cooler, if it's that cold, or I might just wear a long sleeve shirt. And that's the beauty of it, is by taking that, you're not having a pile this big, of clothes just to stay warm, or peeling it off because it's getting too hot. You're going to have a stack like this big. And that's where the lightweight, the small design, packability, all of those things come into sorry, there's a fly, into account when you're buying those things. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions about gear, like I said, I'm going to be posting some more videos about, I'm going to try to break it down into pants, base layers, and outerwear in a whole. And I may get it into some boots and some socks, but with me only having one really proprietary boot that I wear, it'd be kind of hard to compare those to other things. So I really hope you enjoy this video, and remember, train for the pursuit.